gosh. You didn't just say that. Well, welcome to the April 7, 2015 Federal Way City Council meeting. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Mr. Mayor, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And when I say that, I should say we've got two Mr. Mayors in the room. It's Dick Mayor, our friend. Exactly. Oh, that's right. We've got three mayors in the room. We've got Mayor Michael Park, who's going to be speaking here in a few moments as well. It's a mayor's convention. All right. I'd like to start off by a special recognition to a true friend of Federal Way. Susan Streifel, can you please come up to the podium while I read this? We are very, very pleased to have Susan Streifel with us today. Susan Streifel, the CEO of Woodstone Credit Union and has been a fixture in our community for years and years, has received a national recognition and a national leadership post. I asked her today to honor her today, and I'm going to go ahead and read this, and then we'll talk, and I'll allow you an opportunity. And then when we get all done, we'll take a picture, okay?
Okay.
This is a certificate of recognition for Susan Streifel. Today, we recognize Ms. Streifel for her election as the board chairwoman for the Credit Union National Association, CUNA. CUNA is a national organization representing nearly 7,000 credit unions across the country and more than 100 million members, and is the largest national trade association of its kind in the United States of America. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Ms. Streifel is exceptional and throughout her career has focused on making what is good for the member, good for the organization. One method she espouses is building a relationship of cooperation with the city, as both have the best interest of the community at heart. Taking the helm of this national committee is a product, and national organization is a product of many years of dedicated work in the credit union industry, which has led to the city having a strong advocate on a national level. Her experience along the way has influenced and continues to influence the health of our community. For this, we recognize her and show our gratitude. And so I've got a certificate of recognition that reads, Susan, certificate of recognition from the City of Federal Way presented to Susan M. Streifel. On behalf of the elected officials and citizens of Federal Way, Washington, and in recognition of your recent election to the position of Credit Union National Association, CUNA, Board Chairwoman, dated the 7th day of April, 2015, signed by myself and all 7 council members. Let's give another round of applause. So Susan, I'll hand this to you and please say a few remarks, and then we'll take a group picture. Okay?
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's, it's so fitting that this happens today because in 1996, this was my first day at Woodstone Credit Union in Federal Way.
Wow.
And I just realized that when the mayor said the date. So I am humbled. This is my home, away from home, I have to say, and I'm so honored to be recognized by my community for my work at the national level. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy business schedule to recognize an individual who loves this community and is committed to the success as we move Federal Way forward in the years to come. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's do one individual picture.
Okay.
You guys, we're going to take one individual picture, and then let's have you come down and start making your way down. We'll do a big group picture. Congratulations. Oh, you're welcome.
Who's going to ask all those questions in February?
Okay. Well, thank you, Susan. Really, congratulations once again. What a big honor, a national organization. And please let us know if we can do anything for you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. It was great to see Susan's family here as well. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, now moving on, we have a special treat. We have our former mayor, Michael Park, who is here to give two presentations. One to discuss the proposed park and Korean garden, and also I had asked Mayor Park to be our representative on a friendship tour to Shantou, China in the fall, and he's here to give a report on that as well. So, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening, Mayor Farrell and Council Member. I'm here today to brief report about our Korean Park and the China city of Shantou visit. Tonight, I'm with the Federal Korean American Association President Jay Kim, and Chair of the Board Hee-jung Lee, and Secretary General Sang Lee. They are working on this park project. So I like to, Sang, would you? So this packet include about a year ago, the City Council unanimously approved, proposed this park, and that packet is, I'm going to report about past 1 year, what has done and what we're trying to do in the future. In that packet, I enclosed the letter of support from Congressman Adam Smith and the State of Washington Department Veterans Affairs Director Alfie Ramos, and 30th District legislatures, and King County Councilman Barn Reitbauer, and of course the Mayor Farrell. And also there is I recruit two co-chair, honorary co-chair, one co-chair who is a retired General Hemphill, U.S. Army Major General retired. His letter and his bio. I don't know whether it's not working. After City Council approved last March, we gathered, this whole Korean community gathered at the June, trying to get a community effort. So we have a pretty good meeting, and community would like to get some consensus trying to do the effort. And I have been meeting with various community leaders, and so after City Council approved, we get us June. After that, I received the first July mail, Jim Farrell's letter of support. And last year, July 29, South Korean government Veterans Affairs Deputy Secretary Choi was visited in this area. So we toured that BPA trail site, and we are seeking some public funding from the South Korea. And in the meantime, during the time, we are broadening our scope of project. We're hearing a lot of community leaders' ideas, particularly King County Councilman Barn Reitbauer recommend in that park trying to establish some Korean War memorial. So last year we renamed the park as U.S. Korea Amity Park. So that's the official name of the park project. And as you can see, we trying to work and get our nonprofit 501c status established, and U.S. Korea Amity Park registered in State Secretary office. And we opened a bank account, everything ready to get some public funding or donation and sponsorship. And last October, I visited South Korea to meet Secretary of the Veterans Affairs, which is a South Korean cabinet level position. And also I met one of the Foreign Affairs Secretary, Overseas Foundation chairman I met. So we trying to get some South Korean public sector the funding, and I met a couple of times Congressman Smith trying to get some Pentagon fund to establish some Korean War Memorial. And at that time, I visited the city of Donghae, met the Mayor Sim, get some their support. So that's the kind of first sheet, a little bit chronology of the since last March up to date. And letter from the Alfred Ramos from the state we received last March, very recently we received. So I talked to Council General Moon. He's going to host some luncheon meeting with some various community leader, Congressman Smith and Ban Rai Bauer and Mayor Furrow, so we get some luncheon meeting and get some idea. So we are seeking total budget about $3 million, $1 million from South Korean, $1 million from the U.S. public sectors, and $1 million from donation and sponsorship and contribution various sectors. That's what we're hoping for. So at this moment, we have seed money. We raised about $15,000 at the bank account. So that's what we're working on it. So probably in the fall, we are going to have some big fundraising gala supporting from the State Veterans Affairs Department, Alfie Ramos. She is going to participate in. So that's what we're planning at this point. And we are trying to put some big sign at the site indicating future site for the U.S. Korea Amity Park. Once it's established, it's going to be a kind of long term. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to be pretty good amenity for this community and beautification of BPA Trail at the same time. Coincidentally, Federal Way Korean American Association President Jay Kim is architecture. So he and two other architects working on some conceptual design at this point. So maybe toward this fall we can show some conceptual design as you can see. So there's a Korean War Memorial and some Korean style pagoda and Korean style some garden, and it's pretty good component on that project. So any comment and question at this point?
Councilmember Honda?
Thanks. Thank you very much. I've been asking what was happening with this, so I'm glad that you're here to talk to us about it tonight. I know the timeline before was several years, maybe 5 to 10 years. Is that still the current timeline that you're thinking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did the water and the electrical use work out with King County?
So we are communicating with, as a matter of fact, I met the King Council Council member Ban Raipo about 2 weeks ago. So we are communicating. Okay. But water and power hasn't been concluded at this point.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Councilmember Selsky.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Farrell, and thank you, Mike, for the presentation and for all the work everybody's doing on this. I am really excited about this project for our city, for the BPA, but in particular for relations. And I just love the name of the park. I'm not sure who came up with that, but that is awesome. U.S. Korea Amity Park. And the other thing I'm really glad to hear is the Veterans Memorial. placement in there and theme honoring the veterans. You know, anytime we can do that in a setting like this is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And then thank you for all the collaboration you've all done, working with all the different agencies and officials and whatnot. So thanks for all the work you're putting into this, and I know it's a big endeavor, but I know it's going to be a tremendous resource for our city.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Councilmember Duclos.
I too want to thank you for your taking the lead on this, and for all of you who are working on it. This is very, very exciting. I think it's going to be very beautiful, and I think it shows the relationship between our country and Korea. We have a huge Korean American population here, and you've been all have been very involved with the city. I served on this council with former Councilmember Park, and knew him before that. I'd be in the audience asking him for things. So it's very exciting, and I can't wait for it all to happen. And if there's anything we can do to help, let us know.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, at the meeting with Councilmember Von Reitbauer, this year's Flag Day, I believe, is June 13. So we are talking about maybe inviting those two co-chairs, General Hemphill and General Park, to honor that Flag Day ceremony at that time. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, Deputy Mayor Burbidge.
Thank you very much. I also want to congratulate you and express appreciation for the work that you've done and providing this update, this report for us. You've made a great deal of progress, and I'm looking very much forward to the actual park taking shape, and having the War Memorial there is a very important aspect of it, a very wonderful addition. And also, along with Councilmember Selsky, I like that name very much. It helps to express the important friendship that we have together. So thank you, and I look forward to.
I believe there is still the Korean War veterans still survived, quite a few. So we're trying to contact those community. You know, the 1950, the Korean War, without
Yes.
the United States, the fight for the South Korean people, South Korea today is not possible. So supposed to contribute very strong allies. So we're trying to respect the relationship to countries. That's the park. So we named the U.S.-Korea Amity
Right.
Park. Yeah.
Very definitely. So thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councilmember Sefadawson.
Yeah, I too just want to say thank you very much. This timeline is really impressive. And I also want to say thank you for the partnership, the relationship that you're forging and making stronger between sister cities in Korea as well as here. And for someone like me who is challenged when I walk and stuff, that would be a great place to even rest, relax, and just enjoy what is out there. So thank you for doing it. Appreciate it.
All right.
And I'd like to briefly comment regarding that my October trip to Shantou, China. Shantou, located kind of southeast part of the China, about 6-7 hours drive from city of Guangzhou, which is the capital city of Guangdong province. So October 18, city of Shantou celebrating Washington State Day. So from the state, Lieutenant Governor Brad Owen and me and Bill Stafford, retired president of the Seattle Area Trade Development Alliance, he was there, and a couple of U.S. consulate offices participated. They are all the commerce, and right now Japanese people would like to expand, broaden their scope of world, eye-opening at this point. So they are very interesting to have some sister city relationship with city of Federal Way. City of Shantou, the population is about 3 million. In Chinese standard, 3 million is a very small village. So usually big cities over 10 million or 15 million, very easy. So it was very good. I just one overnighted, so very brief trip, But however, I was very honored to represent friends from the city of Federal Way as a former mayor. So they are very good hospitality, and they welcome the city of Federal Way. And also early this year, representative of the city of Shantou visited the city hall. They are very happy and glad the city of Federal Way reception, Mayor Farrell. And also I attended their reception night at the Chinatown. There are some people from the city of Shantou. So I'm looking for some relationship from now on with the city of Shantou. So that was my report. And I brought one brochure, which is Mayor Farrell's congratulation letter is printed in very beautiful packet. So City of Federal Way is kind of extended some Chinese city. So that was good.
Well, thank you.
Anything
And,
else?
that was it, I think. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right.
And by the way, for the press, I'd like to have a picture with the whole council.
Oh, yeah.
So you need to
Good.
come
Council,
down
come on
one more
down.
time, okay? It may be record. Is it two times so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. That's great. It's always great to hear from our former mayor. All right, now it's time for my emerging issues and report. Last Wednesday at the Twin Lakes Country Club, I gave my State of the City address. I was able to tell the folks there about our town center proposals, which are the new park that we're working on, which should be completed next year. We've got a Performing Arts and Conference Center, which we have our inaugural director, Teresa Yvonne, and we're scheduled to break ground this September and should be finished by December of 2016. Pretty exciting. And so we're working very hard on those issues, and also talked about the new acquisition and what we have going on with what we refer to as TC3, which is the former Target site, of which we have now put out a request for qualifications, and we're working very hard on making sure that we've got town center moving along at quite a clip. So we talked about a number of different things. We actually have Mike Ziak, who will be putting together a video of that, and we'll have that running on Channel 21 with the new program we're doing called New Day Federal Way, which is, it really does have the opportunity to have people who couldn't make that presentation actually see it on Channel 21, and that'll be running here pretty quickly. New Day 21, or New Day Federal Way is a great opportunity for folks. In fact, Mike Ziek was we've got the picture there of the basketball game between the police and the fire, which I'll talk about, and I'll have the chief talk about in a few moments. But we had Mike there as well, and that'll be on Channel 21. It's really it's an asset that we've had in our community for quite some time, and we're really starting to utilize that asset. The Martin Luther King speech was on there. The Red, White, and Blues fireworks will be on there. And so we'll talk about the basketball game in just a few moments. But I thought the State of the City was a great opportunity for the community and for the folks to really hear what's going on and some very exciting things. So stay tuned. So the Business Connection meeting, we had last year we did 6 neighborhood connections, which are town hall meetings that we went out into the community. So now we've started a new program called Business Connection, and we're doing that in several different sections of town. The inaugural Business Connection meeting was on March 24th. We had that in downtown, and it was in one of our hotels. It was a great opportunity to tell the business community and business owners about what we're doing in our downtown with the park and the PAC and TC3 and all of the exciting things. So that went off real well. I'd like to say thank you to my colleagues on the council for being there. And it was just we're going to go in different parts of the community and make sure that we're listening and being responsive and doing whatever we can to provide a platform for business and private investment to succeed in our community. Our next neighborhood connection, which will be the first of the year, again, like a town hall meeting concept, the first of the year is going to be at Adelaide Elementary on Thursday, April 23rd. That's Thursday, April 23rd at 6 p.m. at Adelaide Elementary. And we'll be doing some advertising on it as we've done, but we want to make sure that we get out into the neighborhoods. One of the key components of Neighborhood Connection is that we reconnect back. So this is really a follow-up to last year's Neighborhood Connection meeting at that same location. I think we had 175 people at that Neighborhood Connection meeting last April. And it was just, I think it was April, late April. And it was a great opportunity to hear from neighbors. But we hear about crime statistics, about road projects. So the key thing is we're going back out again, and we'll be able to really match up where we were at in the past year with addressing crime, graffiti, traffic, and those kinds of things. So April 23rd, 6 p.m., Adelaide Elementary. Police fire basketball game. It was really a barn burner. This is the picture of the event, and we have our very own master of ceremonies at the game, our own Parks Director, John Hutton. John, take it from here.
Thank you, Mayor Farrell, Deputy Mayor Burbidge, and members of the City Council. It was a tremendous event on Saturday. I'm happy to report that it was well attended. I spoke with Dick Mayer this evening. The Lions put together a tremendous team. We worked for a couple of months on some planning meetings, moved that game from Decatur High School over to the Federal Way Community Center. Dick told me this evening that more than doubled their fundraising efforts from previous years. So they're very happy. We're very happy. We had a great turnout. The Lions did a great job cooking hot dogs. We had lots of guest appearances. We had several city council members there. The mayor was there. It was just a terrific show. The game was awesome. It was really competitive. And it came down to the last shot of the game. Wow. Fire had a chance to win that game, and I can't say that every year. This year they did, and it was very competitive. A 2-point game with the police winning. So we're very, very happy with the turnout. McGruff and Sparky, the fire dog, were out. We had the Easter Bunny there. Kids got all kinds of treats. We did auctions, and they did very, very well for the fundraising efforts. The proceeds from this event, for those of you who don't know, are split 3 ways between the Lions for their charitable outreach, also Federal Way Police and their charitable outreach, and South King Fire and Rescue charitable outreach. So every dollar made goes to a great cause, and we just couldn't have been happier with the event. The turnout, and of course the game being competitive was a nice bonus too. And I noticed as I was looking around, I have something just kind of laying around here. And I'd like to see if Chief Andy Wong would like to come up. And, going to make a shameless plug for the Federal Way Community Center. I work out there several times a week, including once a week with the mayor, and it's a good thing I lift weights because this bad boy is heavy. So there you are, Chief. I'd like to say a few words.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly easy for us to just show up and have fun, and I would really want to thank the Lion Club members and our city staff, John Hudd and his staff, Parks Department, for just doing a wonderful job, doing all the heavy lifting, and a lot of children and families in our community will benefit because of your hard work. So thank you very much. And pleased to say that we're maintaining our dominance over the fire department. So thank you.
Excuse me, Chief. Now the chili cook-off.
Yeah.
Yes, they are better cooks than us, but
We're going to take them this year.
Exactly. Great job. Really great job, Chief. And maybe next year I'll play. Last year I got to play a little bit, but I have to tell you, as soon as the people really started filing in, I thought, gosh, what a great place to have this. I remember we were talking about this a year ago, about having it at this location, and it really has been a great partnership to work with your crew. John, thank you very much for getting for making sure that the stands, the scoreboard, all of it was just seamless. It was a great community event, and to see that, it really just events like this sort of make it start feeling like a small town in a good way. And so, thank you very much. Good job, Chief.
Thank you. I'd like to say one thing. The Federal Way Community Center staff really did all the work. They did a fantastic job of welcoming people, doing a great job of helping with getting the Lions set up so they could be successful to the maximum degree. So they did a fantastic job. Thank you all. Any questions about the event at all?
You guys, any questions? No. Great job, John.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the first council meeting for our new Community Development Director, Michael Morales. Michael, just want to have you have an opportunity to say, just come on up and say hi real quick. Your first day was the State of the City speech. Michael, how's the past week been?
Fantastic, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of council. I'm very pleased to be here and just amazed almost every day at just different things I discover about Federal Way and beyond the facilities and just the community and folks being really welcoming and staff especially, not only of my department, a lot of good people there, very supportive, but other fellow department directors and just throughout City Hall. I really appreciate the environment here. And it was also April Fool's Day, so I was kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop at some point that day, but I got through.
Oh yeah, that's the day I had to give my State of the City address. So
yeah.
Left me wondering who the fool was. So, all right. Well, thank you very much,
Thank
Michael.
you.
Appreciate it. All right. Oh yeah. Welcome. All right. Now it's time for the most important part of the evening, our citizen comment. The first comment we have is by Stephen Salter, and Stephen will be speaking for his neighborhood for 5 minutes. Sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Stephen Salter, and I am here representing the neighborhood near the northwest corner of Southwest 366 and 3rd Avenue Southwest. My comments are in reference to a pending short plat called the Monte Vista Short Plat. I have provided a copy of my comments to the clerk, and she'll provide those to you in haste. I apologize, I did not bring 12 copies. I will quickly try to read through my letter and offer up any feedback if you have questions. This letter is directed to the new or incoming Director of Community Development, Mr. Morales. My wife and I, Stephen J. and Dr. Heather E. Salter, wish to express our concern over several deficiencies associated with the proposed Monte Vista Short Plat owned by Monte Vista Partners, LLC, and generally located at 320 Southwest Street, 366th Street, Federal Way, Washington. We outlined our concerns below, and more specifically in the body of this letter. For your reference, we've attached photographs of the existing conditions on or near Southwest 366th, 3rd Avenue Southwest, and 2nd Place Southwest. Our concerns are as follows. Road improvements along Southwest 366th Street, i.e. insufficient development, asphalt road, concrete curb, gutter, and sidewalk of the east to west oriented track X, which is an easement/tax parcel currently owned by Monte Vista that fronts the south side of the Salter parcel. The north side of Southwest 366th Street needs to be completed. That's my comment. Neighborhood impacts and safety concerns related to the increased vehicle trips along an insufficiently improved surface street, i.e. along Southwest 366th Street, at its intersection with 3rd Avenue Southwest and at its intersection with 2nd Place Southwest. Third, road improvements along 3rd Avenue Southwest, i.e. surface water management from runoff and access impacts to the unimproved gravel road for stormwater pond construction and/or maintenance. And the fourth would be stormwater pond design, construction, and maintenance, i.e. road impacts, fencing, vegetation buffer, heavy rain impacts, and/or flow prevention, site safety, which means fall hazards and drowning, and downgraded impacts to adjacent and/or nearby properties. The designation of the proposed easement or development road is 3rd Avenue Southwest. That's an existing road that was created as part of the short plat for my own property and the neighborhood in general, and then of course easement relinquishment, which I will pass over. As background, in 1978, the Ward family, which is the previous owners of our property at 36526 3rd Avenue Southwest, short platted what was their almost 5-acre rectangular shaped 5-acre lot, into 5 acres into 4 lots. The Ward family kept the 1.95 acres that was occupied by a single family home constructed in 1953, and they created 3 additional 0.95 acre lots to the north. At the same time, an east to west easement was created, referred to as Track X, along the west side of their property that was assigned the street name 3rd Avenue Southwest. In accordance with easement restrictions, the property owners along 3rd Avenue Southwest were required to maintain the road. In 1996, Salter purchased the Ward home and property, and they still own the property. The Salter property lies directly east of the proposed development and is generally located at the southwest corner of 3rd Avenue Southwest and Southwest 366th Street. Topographically, our property is down gradient of the proposed development. The area topography runs in an east-northeasterly direction north of Southwest 366. I have been in the development industry and the environmental health and safety industry for 30 plus years and have owned my own consulting firm since 1988. From 92 to 94, I was the first environmental expert for the city of Tacoma. On their planning commission, I have been a licensed business owner in the city of Federal Way since 1996. The scope of my professional work has included the inspection for and the reporting of on hazardous materials and the planning and development of commercial, industrial, and residential properties and/or tracts of land. During my career, I have worked for most of the cities throughout this jurisdiction, I will be brief and sum up in the last 30 seconds. We have a number of insufficient road development standards existing at this location. The proposed development only exacerbates those existing insufficient road standard conditions. We also have a pond planned on this property. There is no standards or outlined for fencing, safety issues associated with the middle school kids at Ilhir that are going by. I ask you to please review this. I will be providing this to the city shortly, and hopefully we can get some feedback on it. I'm very concerned about this. Any questions, please?
Actually, now's not the appropriate time for us to provide you with questions, but I'll have you meet with Michael Morales, our new director, and he will talk with you, and we'll get a report, and we'll hear back at the next council meeting about your concerns.
I'm sorry my comments were so voluminous. Thank you for the time.
Oh, yeah, thank you, sir.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
May I just?
sure, yes.
Thank you. I just, so the council and you and the council are aware, we just received this application in, I think, a little over a week ago.
Okay.
And right now it's in its review for completeness of the application. So there's no action being contemplated at this point. We're just making sure that the applicant has provided everything that they need to provide for us to make a review and a determination. And there will be the typical usual comment period that will be open for, and certainly if he wants to be a party of record, we can make sure that's sent directly to him when that occurs and work through it.
Thank you, Michael.
You're
And thank you, Mr. Salter, for this detailed letter. It really does help us to tee up the issues. All right, thank you. I will provide a, Mr. Salter and Michael and Mr. Salter, and because this was a part of the official record, we will have Michael give a presentation before the council at the next meeting probably during the mayor's report. So, all right, thank you very much. Okay, now let's move on to Mark Grotenfeld. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. I'm here speaking as a private citizen. My name is Mark Grodefend. I live on Southwest 366, so it's nice to come here and hear about stuff that's going on in my neighborhood. But I've been there since 1999. My family moved there. My wife and I have raised 4 children here in Federal Way. Really have enjoyed being in Federal Way for the closeness it is to the area around us, the other things that are out around us, but also for the atmosphere and the family atmosphere that we have here. A nice place to be able to raise children. What I'm here to speak about is to encourage in coming ordinance here the first reading for the ban on the recreational marijuana related businesses. As I mentioned, since I've raised 4 children here in Federal Way, today's society is very tough in trying to protect your children, providing them with a safe place and a safe environment to be. And as they go out in their school and everything else out and around in the communities, the one place that you wish that they would be able to be safe and feel safe is always at home. I think that having businesses in Federal Way that provide marijuana-related products and all that does not help and does not promote that safer, secure feeling that the family and the children need. So as a private citizen of Federal Way and as a parent, I would encourage for the families and for the children of Federal Way that the City Council approve this ban on marijuana-related businesses in Federal Way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And what's on, Mark, what's on the actually agenda today, or the option of either a ban or a moratorium? But I'm sure you saw that. And just want to make sure it's clear. All right, now Larry Wooden. And then Richard Champion's on deck.
Good evening. My name is Larry Wooden. I'm a resident of the community, and I just thought it was important to put a face to the letter that I sent all of you recently with my concerns about the development of the PAC project. I'm excited that we're doing it. I think it'll be a great thing for the community if we take the time to get all the pieces put together properly. And I think the outline of my general concerns are pretty well addressed in the summary letter that I gave. The good news is I also came in at the end of last week and met with your new executive director, Theresa Yvonne, who I think you have a very strong leader in her. And I'm just here to urge you to give her the time to really carefully examine and review and alter these drawings, because they do have significant deficiencies, and I think she's up to the task of bringing the issues to your attention and getting them corrected. Anyway, and I'm happy to continue to participate in that or to answer any questions you may have at other times that are more appropriate, even with the plans in front of us.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah.
Just so the council knows, Larry and I have been talking for several months. I loaned him the actual design documents, and he went down and made copies of them. So he could, can you tell us, Larry, can you tell us about your background?
Yeah, I have a master's in architecture from the University of Washington. I've taught architecture and design at 3 different universities. I served for 11 years on the immediate past president of the Frank Lloyd Wright Building Conservancy, which is an international board of directors. I've just been asked to return to that board in the fall. The Weyerhaeuser family just asked me to join the board of directors of Lakewold Gardens. And so I've been in this 30 years of independent design practice on my own. So.
Very good. Well, thank you very much for your input. We appreciate your letters. My understanding is we're going through a lot of those elements and addressing many of those. And so thank you very much. Right. All right. All right. Richard Champion. Soon to be Richard Champion Esquire, but that's another issue.
My name is Richard Champion. I'm here to speak about the readings you'll be doing and later voting on the bans and moratoriums on recreational marijuana. I will start by saying I've never consumed marijuana. It's probably not good for your health. For the same reason, I've never drank a beer, I've never smoked a cigarette, I don't use recreational drugs because they're not good for you. But we live, the human species likes to alter their state of mind. You can look at ancient drawings and stone carvings by the Egyptians. They're drawing the lotus, the narcotic lotus flowers, which is part of their life. Children, my niece, will spin around in a circle until she falls down, and then get back up and spin along in a circle and fall down again. Altering our brain, altering our mind is part of the human experience. If you will look at the 2012 election on I-502, yes, by federal way voters got 17,301 votes. Now, if you look back at any of your elections, all but 2 of you, that is twice as many votes that any of you got. And for the other 2, it's 80+% more than how many votes you got. So for the vast majority of you, recreational marijuana is twice as popular as you are. That's the reality. To not listen to your voters, your constituents, who you're supposed to be representing, shows a disdain, a contempt for your own populace. I mean, one of the people who spoke at the last meeting said that they want to create a positive image for Federal Way. Well, I don't think a positive image for Federal Way is to have complete indifference to what their constituents want. That's why we have the initiative system. Western states saw that Eastern political bosses were ignoring what the populace wanted. And so they created the initiative system to bypass politicians who weren't listening to the populace at large. I urge that we institute recreational marijuana in the state, in the city. There are over 6,400 businesses in the city. This would have 3 so-called pot shops in the city. The first 3 licenses are on Pack Highway, not a children's zone. We need to move forward. We need to be a 21st century city. Seattle, Bellevue, Redmond, these are progressive cities. They're moving forward. Let's not live in the last century. We instituted medical marijuana in 1998. The year I graduated high school, I had a full head of hair then. Let's live in the now. Let's be a progressive city, a Federal Way.
Hey, Richard, 1 second. I think Councilmember Maloney wanted to say something briefly.
Yeah, if you don't mind. I appreciate the humor that you brought to this, and I think it'd be awesome if everyone who wanted to alter their state of mind just twirled around like your niece. That'd be awesome. But one just little clarification I want to make is that I-502 really didn't have anything to do with where these recreational businesses would be located. It was expressly for, I've got it right here in front of me, but we'll talk about that later. But I just want to make sure the public knows that I-502 was expressly for legalizing and decriminalizing possession and usage. It had nothing to do with locating the shops, the businesses. So I just want to make sure people are clear on that. So thank you.
Council, do you have any rebuttal to that?
I would just say that the voters of Federal Way are not stupid. When they voted for I-502, they knew that this wouldn't mean that there'd be recreational marijuana in Spokane and Yakima and Bellingham, but not in Federal Way. They knew it meant here, and they want it here because they want to move forward. This is where the city's going, the state's going, where the country's going. Let's live in the now.
And they can certainly smoke it here legally, that's for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I think this is a prelude. Thank you, Richard. Richard's soon to be going off to law school, and we're very proud of what he's doing. And as we can tell from this exchange, obviously this is a discussion that we're having in the community. It's a discussion we're going to have on this dais in just a few moments. So thank you very much. Okay. Let's see here. Richard, and I think did we have a written? Oh, okay. Okay, that concludes our public comment, and now we're off to the the consent agenda. We only have 4 items on consent agenda. We have the minutes from the March 17th, 2015 regular and special meeting minutes. We have monthly financial report, January, February 2015, and item C, vouchers, February 2015. Item D, Dumas Space Center, Knutson Family Theater recarpeting. These items have gone through committee and can be passed as one vote. With that being said, Deputy Mayor Burbidge, do you have a motion?
I do, thank you. I move approval of items A through D on the consent agenda.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Before we vote on that, would a council member want to pull any of the items A through D?
Let me check.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. They pass. Now, on what they call the main event. So, let me just start by prefacing it with at the last council meeting, I proposed, and in what was the mayor's or my recommendation was to cite marijuana legally throughout the city. That vote passed. That vote failed 2-5. So now what we have before us, I want to make sure it's very clear. We have two items before us, both on for first reading. The first ordinance, 672, and we're going to have a staff presentation in just a moment, but I want to explain what we're doing before we get there. So 672 is on for first ordinance, a proposal to ban recreational marijuana-related businesses in the city of Federal Way. At the same time, we also have an alternative to that, which is Council Bill 673, which is an ordinance establishing a moratorium on recreational marijuana-related businesses for the next year. These are obviously, we are not going to pass both of these, and we may not pass either, but they both cannot be passed. So what I'm going to be asking at this time is for Stacey Welsh, our senior planner, to come forward, give us a presentation, and it appears the logical way to proceed through this would be to see if there's support for the ban, and if not, then we move on to a moratorium, unless there is any kind of request by the council to do otherwise. So Stacey, go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you, Mayor Farrell, Deputy Mayor Burbidge, and members of the council. Last October, the council enacted a moratorium on marijuana-related businesses that will expire on May 5th. On March 17th, the council did not move Council Bill number 670 forward, which was an ordinance that would have allowed for the zoning and regulation of recreational marijuana-related businesses within the city. Council consensus was to bring forward two options, one of which was an ordinance to ban recreational marijuana. The second option is the separate ordinance on tonight's agenda for the moratorium. Again, the moratorium ordinance is proposed for consideration only if this ordinance to ban does not move forward. The proposed ordinance to ban states that recreational marijuana-related businesses, such as marijuana production, processing, or retail sales, as may be allowed by Chapter 6950 RCW, are expressly prohibited from locating or operating in any zone within the city of Federal Way. This ordinance would take effect on May 6th, which is following the May 5th expiration of the existing moratorium. Tonight, this is proposed for first reading with second reading on April 21st. That concludes the presentation.
All right, now, Stacey, can we do that, the one on moratorium on recreational marijuana?
Sure.
Please. I figured, well, let's do both presentations and then kind of have them both out there.
I apologize if they're a little bit repetitive.
And Stacey, let's talk really about timing just real quickly. If the ban, we would do first reading tonight, second reading on the 21st, correct?
Correct.
But the moratorium we would do, not to steal your thunder here, but the moratorium would be first and second reading with immediate effect tonight, right?
It would be first and second reading tonight with effective date of May 6th, and
Right.
then you would have a public hearing at the April 21st meeting.
That's right, I'm sorry. Actually, the moratorium expires on May 5th, so the very next day, the moratorium would go into place.
Correct.
Thank you very much. The 30-day clock would start immediately.
Correct.
All right, go ahead, please.
Let's see. So the proposed moratorium ordinance establishes a one-year moratorium on recreational marijuana-related businesses and other activities involved in the retail, production, and processing of recreational marijuana within the city to preserve what is known as the status quo in the city while we consider, develop, and implement appropriate regulations. The proposed ordinance would take effect on May 6th. The ordinance establishes a city staff work group to evaluate any state legislation regarding recreational marijuana and to develop draft regulations regarding recreational marijuana-related uses. This allows city staff, the Planning Commission, and the council time to review city development regulations to determine appropriate development standards and to move any proposed code changes through established governmental processes. A public hearing is required for the moratorium, and the ordinance sets a public hearing date of April 21st. That is also the same evening you'll be having a public hearing on the medical marijuana moratorium. Staff is requesting that council suspend council rule to allow first reading and enactment in the same meeting tonight if you want to approve the marijuana moratorium. That concludes the second presentation.
All right, council, any questions for Ms. Welsh? No questions? Wow, I've never heard you guys so quiet before. Okay. All right, so thank you very much, Stacy, for that presentation. Actually, could I please have the city clerk read the ordinance title for 672?
Council Bill 672, ordinance to ban recreational marijuana-related businesses. An ordinance of the City of Federal Way, Washington, relating to prohibiting all recreational marijuana-related businesses, including retail, production, and processing.
All right. Councilmember Selski, do you have a motion?
I do, Mayor Farrell. I move to forward the proposed ordinance to the April 21st council meeting for enactment.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or any discussion? All right. All those in favor? I'm sorry. Yeah, Councilmember
Yes.
Selski.
So we've been talking about this for about a year and a half now on this dais. And it's a really divisive issue. We all know that. And I just have a couple things to say about it. Everybody's pretty clear where I stand on this issue. I've made, I think, that very clear in our past several meetings. And we talked about this tonight. Councilmember Maloney pointed this out, that I-502 only stood for possession and use and not for production, processing, and sales. There's no language about that anywhere in this initiative. And so we've heard those that have stated that we should follow the will of the people by supporting zoning of marijuana businesses in this city. You know what, I personally don't think we can extrapolate the vote of I-502 such that the voters intended also for marijuana stores. This is for production and processing. The two are apples and oranges. There's I lived in a city in California for 1 year, and there's a motto that this city has. In fact, it's posted over the main entry points of the city on big banners. And I'll never forget this because it's something that I just really liked seeing. And this motto was 4 words. The motto was, times change, values don't. I'd like to say in Federal Way, yes, we are on new times, but we have values. And in my mind, values in this city don't incorporate adding pot stores on our main thoroughfare through the city. So at this point, I believe it's time to ban marijuana for all the reasons that we've presented here on the dais in the past 18 months, really for the good image of our city and for the safety and health of our citizens. Thank you.
All right,
I'm going to have to
Duclos.
speak in opposition, and I respect Councilmember Selski immensely, and I have learned a lot from him and talked over many things with him, but I do disagree with this because I do think that our people voted to legalize marijuana, 53%. And I think you can extrapolate that to the fact that the people who voted that way want it here. And I want to listen to the people that live here and that vote here. And so I will be voting against prohibiting retail marijuana-related businesses, including retail production and processing, because I don't think that's the way the people of this city and others in this state wanted us to go. I was elected to represent the people of our community, and I tried my very best to do that. And when the majority, 53% is a huge majority in this city. If you're running for election, you got 53%, you'd love it. And so I have to follow the wishes of the majority of this city.
Council, any other, Councilmember Moore?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I've stated before, this is certainly a difficult issue, and at the last meeting, I obviously made my decision, and as elected officials, it's our job to listen to people. And over the last week and a half, Mr. Mayor, I took the time to call voters and ask them the question, do you want to see marijuana stores in Federal Way? And while I talked to a small amount of folks, the responses I got were 22 people were against having a pot store in Federal Way. One was undecided, and one was for having pot stores in Federal Way. The reality is, Mr. Mayor, that I think that if you talk to voters today and you ask them the simple question of, is this what you want for your city? I think they'll, clearly I had the majority of folks answer that question. And so in my job in listening to voters, today I will also, and will continue, to vote against the ban, I'm sorry, for the ban, to ban recreational marijuana stores in Federal Way. And if this was to come up for a moratorium, I will, as I've always stated, will vote against the moratorium as well. So I think that's important information to bring forward. And I thank the people that took the time to talk to me over the phone. I know some people are here, and I'm here listening to you today. Thank you.
Okay, Council, any other comments? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Opposed?
Nay.
Deputy Mayor Burbidge?
Aye.
Councilmember Safa Dawson?
Aye.
Councilmember Maloney?
Aye.
Councilmember Honda?
Nay.
Councilmember Selsky?
Aye.
Councilmember Moore?
Aye.
Councilmember Duclos?
Nay.
Motion passes 5-2.
Okay, and then it does not go into effect yet. We've got second reading on April 21st, and then 5 days, if the vote is a majority at that time, then 5 days following that, the ban would take effect.
The ban will take effect on May 6th, the day following the conclusion of the existing moratorium.
Okay, all right. Very good. All right. All right, so the second proposal is essentially moot at this point. We'll just strike it from the agenda. Council reports. Councilmember Safa Dawson.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'd like to say before we get started, Ms. Welsh, thank you very much for your very thorough and thoughtful presentation. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I attended a few meetings and community gatherings. One of them was the meeting the new superintendent, so I was able to participate in the process for the top 3 candidates. And so that was really a great experience because, again, our schools serve we serve the same population for the most part, so it's great to have a great leader at the helm of the school district. And then thank you for the State of the City address. A lot of the stuff we're familiar with, we've heard it over and over, but it's still exciting to see the progress and what our city is doing and how we're moving forward, and to also get the community engagement and support. So really appreciated hearing it at the event. And I also went on the Federal Way Link Extension Tour, which was very informative and visualizing what's going on and how it's working, and the intricacies of this process is really informative and very useful. And also the Municipal League of Cities, watching and being present for King County Councilmember Pete von Rockbauer's award. he's done so much, not only in Federal Way, but throughout the county. And so, again, honoring him was very awesome and great experience. And I also went to One America fundraising, and their whole mission is to empower immigrant population. And as an immigrant, it's seeing the support that they have and seeing the voice of the immigrant populations represented there and being in one place from all over the world practically, and seeing how many of those people were becoming citizens through the process, because citizenship is really expensive. And so to have an agency that is focusing on this population is really great. And then earlier we had the presentation on community on homelessness. And it's a tedious process. There's been a lot of meetings, a lot of involvement and community engagement also on that. And seeing the final project in a couple of months, it's going to be really exciting. But it's a hard work. It's really a lot going into it, into the process, and into studying the strategic plan, understanding it, and just breaking it into the simple elements of it to make sure that this is a process and this plan really is a plan that is going to support and benefit the homeless population in our area. And so we'll keep you posted on what's going on. Thank you very much.
All right, Councilmember Maloney.
Thank you. You forgot to mention that you're on the governing board of the community, or what's Committee to End Homelessness, so that's important for people to know. I think you'll probably hear a lot of the same things from many of us up here. Over the past couple of weeks, have been pretty busy. I attended the city's first Business Connections meeting. I thought it went really well. And of course, the State of the City address. The mayor did a fantastic job. There was a lot of energy in the room because not only his great personality, but also also because we have a lot of really great stuff going on in the community, and it's very exciting. I too attended the Municipal League's event to honor some people in our throughout King County. Pete von Reichbauer was the elected official of the year, and that was quite an honor, I'm sure, for him, and I was honored to be there. And also, let's see, the police and fire basketball game was as well a lot of fun. I'm glad we won. So those are the kind of things that I've been doing from a community perspective, but over the past couple of weeks, I've also met with several community members. I'm beginning to reach out more to the community on a one-to-one basis, but also on Facebook. I've been engaging, posting information and from my perspective on my council role and the things that are going on in the community, as well as seeking feedback from the community. And I've had quite a bit of response, and I'm really excited about it. Hopefully, more people will engage with me in that way. And there have been a lot of public postings, but a lot of private as well through Facebook, and also people are starting to email me more on pertinent issues through email. So anyway, I'm looking at that channel as a good channel for communicating with the public, so let me know if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Honda.
Thank you very much. Last week there was a meeting at Adelaide Elementary School on the new playground at the city. There's the elementary school, and then right next to the elementary school playground there is a city playground, and it's going to be getting new playground equipment. And so the Parks Commission members were there, city staff was there, I was there, Jean Burbidge was there, and one neighborhood. Well, two neighborhood. I'm looking at John Fairbanks. He works for the city, but he also lives in the neighborhood. So there were two folks from the neighborhood that were there. So I would encourage the Adelaide community and those that go to that park and play to come to the April 23rd Neighborhood Connections meeting so they can talk about this. I'm hoping it's going to be on the agenda there with drawings and things that were possible. This is a neighborhood park, and it's it's really important to get feedback from those who use it. So please come and let the city know what you're interested in and what you'd like to see at the park. On April 18th, which is a Saturday, from 9 to 3 at Wild Waves parking lot will be the reuse and recycling event. We do this twice a year. The next time will be September 19th. If you haven't gone, it's very, very, very well run. You pull in, you're directed to where to go to drop things off, to recycle, to get rid of. It's a great event. It just takes you minutes to go through the line, and you're in and out, and it's a great thing that the city does. The city also offers green living workshops. They're usually on Wednesdays, and we have a whole list of them. I'll show you this. So if you're interested, please look for this or ask someone at the city, and we can give you information. It's lots of good information on what to do for green living. We had a city Korean community quarterly meeting, which was a couple weeks ago, I think. It's been weird, we had the 3 weeks, so it's not every other Tuesday, it was the 3 weeks. And that's always a fun meeting to go to because we always hear pretty much the same question. It's the red light cameras that upset people still. So that was interesting. There were several council members that were also there that evening. We have, of course, the basketball game was fun. The last 2 minutes of the game made the game. I have to tell you, Coach Andy Wong came out of his seat to coach his team. He looked like a real college coach there. And we won by 2 points, which was amazing. Congratulations. And the next Parks, Recreation, Human Service, and Public Safety Committee meeting is next Tuesday, April 14th at 5 o'clock.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Selski.
Thanks, Mayor Farrell. Yes, Councilmember Maloney is right. We're all going to probably review some of the same things here tonight, and I will start by adding my praise to the mayor for the State of the City address. I thought it was uplifting, inspirational. Of course, being the history buff he is, he had to cover a lot of history with the city, which is important for us to all know. Integrated some humor, so well done, and I think the crowd, the business people were quite impressed and seeing the plans that all the things going on in our city. So again, nicely done.
And everything I was able to report was because of the partners I have up here. So yeah, you guys make it easy. So thank you.
Excellent. The Lions Club Police Firefighter Ball. Thanks to Dick Mayer for your part leading the Lions, and I know you put a lot of work into this with all the Lions staff and many other volunteers. So thank you. It was a well put on event. I'm so happy to hear that the fundraising took it to the next level. That's always a great thing for all the causes that it went to. You know what, and having it at the community center, what a great place. There's so many activities could be held there. In fact, I'll just mention again that my high school class reunion, Federal Way High School class of 74, had our reunion there last summer, and it was a great place to have it. So weddings, anything, any family event, this is a great place to have it. So, and Doug Nelson and his staff do a great job every way to make the, people who come there feel, just feel good and accommodating. So, so again, thanks again. Glad the police won, and we'll continue that tradition. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's certainly been a busy few weeks, and it's been a lot of fun just going around my community and listening. And today at 2 o'clock, I attended the City Vision meeting. They're often hard to get a hold of or to attend, especially if we're working people. But I was finally I finally had the opportunity to attend, and it was just incredible. I felt really empowered to be sitting here and just listening to what we're all doing to make our community better, what we're doing to always be looking out for the people that are underserved. And that, to me, I felt proud. I felt proud to call Federal Way my home because of the fact that we have a caring community who cares and looks out for one another. And that's, I think that's the moment I was kind of reflecting on as I was listening to our folks that are participating in that meeting. And it was just great because I saw people from all aspects, from your faith community to your advancing leadership to reach out to people that are advocating for the day center, day center shelter, and just a very diverse group. And I was just really proud. I've met with Sound Transit leaders to continuously get briefed and understand the sound transit issues and continue asking those questions, and certainly have learned a lot. I also had the opportunity to meet with Greg Vickers to discuss the day center shelter, and I'm really proud of the work that the city's been doing because I know it was a rough patch in the very beginning, and I'm proud, Mr. Mayor, that Brian's been doing an incredible amount of work. I can tell that he's put a lot of time and effort to reach out to your key folks in our county to bring people together and really try to develop a plan and develop a plan that's result driven. And so I'm really pleased with that, and I know that's the question that's been asked of me throughout the community, and I'm sure others have been asked on the dais as well. So I just wanted I was hoping our Chief of Staff, your Chief of Staff, would have been here, but I wanted to say my thanks to him, because I know he kind of gets grilled sometimes. And like my colleagues, I also had the chance to go to the Muni League Awards, and I was really proud of Pete and the fact that he got elected official of the year. I've recently have had the chance to really get to know our county council member, and I'll tell you what, you hear a lot of feedback about our council member, and some negative and some positives, but when you sit down with him, you realize that he is an everyday individual who's just checking his own email, who will respond to people his own way, on his own rather, and I'm really proud that he's our county council member, and so I'm really appreciative that he got awarded that amazing prestige award, and also had, last but not least, I know my report's a little long, but it's been a busy few weeks, also had the chance to meet with Will and to get briefed on the PAC. And again, I will use this 2 seconds of time to say that I think we're heading in a great direction with our PAC and and what's going to be inside the building. But what I'm more so interested in is making sure that local people are playing a role in building that building. I think that's really critically important, and it's important that we're able to hire working families within our county to be on that project, and I think that's critical.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Moore. I've made that abundantly clear, but we need to make sure that we have a local labor, that it's that's labor friendly, and that we get the what do you call that? The not tutorial, but apprenticeship program involved in that as well. That's a critical part of it. So thank you very much, Councilmember Duclos.
Well, it's hard to talk about waste after all of this, but I will. Just on Friday, March 13th, the Solid Waste Management Advisory Committee reviewed a budget proviso in the adopted King County 2015 budget. They suggest that the Solid Waste Division send an email to each city that's a signatory, of which we are, to the amended and restated Solid Waste Interlocal Agreement, requesting input on the proviso. When we get that, I don't know if it'll go through committee or if the mayor will look at it and send it out to us, but we should be expecting it. They're not providing any revisions at this time, but they're requesting that the cities involved let them know if we have input. I too attended I also attended the quarterly meeting of the Federal Way Korean community and listened to their discussion for the evening. It was very informative. They had a lot of thoughts and a lot of and some concerns that they shared. And I'm very proud to know that we have such an active and knowledgeable community of Korean Americans in this city. They really do some great things for us, and they're very proud to be here, and they're very, very involved, and it was quite interesting. I had to leave. I didn't make it over to the reception for our new individual because I wanted to be here for this meeting. Unfortunately, we had the time wrong, so Susan and I were here early. We bonded, yes, yes. I also took the Federal Way Transit Tour and saw both choices, the first choice and the second choice for the route. And it was quite informative and took several hours to complete. And I was glad I did it because it was easier to understand now what they're looking at. I hope they stick with the first choice. I hope they're able to do that because that would be right up by our parking garage and it would concentrate our transportation in a certain area. Also attended the honor on behalf of Pete von Reichbauer we had a council meeting there that night.
Right.
But we broke it up. We sat at different tables, so we were okay. And I went to the police basketball game. I have 2 beautiful mugs from tall glasses that I bought with the police badge and emblem on them. And I have my afternoon iced coffee in them. Very, very good. And let's see, I have something about the mayor keeping me awake, but I can't remember what that was, so. I will just end.
Just as per usual.
Yes, thank you. I'll just end there.
Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor Burbidge.
Thank you very much. There's a lodging tax advisory committee tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. And I also attended, along with I hope, all the rest of my colleagues, the various tours and presentations by Sound Transit so that we could get updates on the planning for the Link Light Rail. And I found it very informative, the video at the beginning and then the tour itself and all the discussion along the way. I very much appreciate their efforts to keep us informed and to get feedback from us as they're proceeding with their work. I was able to spend some time in Olympia at a couple of different hearings of the legislature. One was again testifying on the tourism promotion area, which will benefit our hotels, our local hotels, and tourism in general in our city should this pass, and it looks it's very favorable in that direction. And I also was able to testify at a transportation hearing supporting the transportation package, and in particular emphasizing, of course, our Triangle project in Federal Way, the funding for that, and also the authorization of the Sound Transit efforts ongoing. I was pleased to be able to attend the government meeting of the Chamber a few weeks back, and pleased with the turnout there and the wide representation present at that meeting and the good discussion. And my kudos additionally to our mayor for the State of the City address. He presented the program for the city with a great deal of energy, and I think it was very well received by the attendees. I also attended the Helen Keller game put on by our Lions, and thank you very much to our active Lions group in Federal Way. That was a very competitive game, very enjoyable, and congratulations to our team. Appreciate that. I would like to also mention a couple of things coming up. One is that there is going to be another symphony concert, the final concert of the season, and that takes place in May, actually, but I like people to have the opportunity to get it on your agendas, on your calendars. That's Sunday, May 3rd at 2:00 p.m. at St. Luke's Church on South 312th. And there will be a wonderful program of several different works with an outstanding soloist there with the Piano Concerto No. 2, Yuka Sasaki, and playing some Rachmaninoff. So we'll look forward to that. And I'd also like to mention their last concert. It was very unusual because it was held at a different location to take advantage of the wonderful organ that is at St. Vincent's Church. And the soloist who played the organ portions was totally outstanding, as was a young pianist, a high school student who was just amazing in his playing. And then the work of the full orchestra was outstanding as well. Our Federal Way Symphony has really stepped up to the plate, and I think anyone would fully enjoy their presentations, so I encourage you to take them in. There's one other item I'll mention, and that is something that's a little bit different. It's actually not the first time it's been held, but our local barbershop chorus is sponsoring a competition in Federal Way, a contest of barbershop choruses, barbershop quartets, and they've opened it up to high school performers, to high school groups. And this will take place at Our Savior's Baptist Church on Friday, April 17th in the evening. That's the quartets. And then Saturday, April 18th, the choruses compete at 10 o'clock. The high school a cappella groups perform and compete at 3 o'clock. And then that evening, the winning groups in each of those categories will perform beginning at 7 p.m. And that's, excuse me, again at Our Savior Baptist Church on South 320th. And that's my report.
All
We're
right, and
early
with that,
tonight.
that is our meeting. We are hereby adjourned.